Hello, welcome back. We are going to cover here. So this is the final game from our first round of matches for Dented Shield Season 4. This is Bretonnians, new to the league. The coach came in 8th last time with Norse. And he's still fairly new to the game. And yeah, he's going with Bretonnians this time round. And then this Khemri team are last season's champions. So it's in a way first against dates from last year, although there's a different team involved. But there are a couple of particular things I wanted to look at in this game that were quite fun. Halfling Master Chef has inducements, and I think that's all there was. I think that's what happened. But yeah, 2 rerolls down for Khemri, who are only down to 5. They've got 4 on their roster plus a leader. And the Bretonnians are defending. Chuck some skills up. Yeah, they are defending. And now, so something I've highlighted a few times for defensive setups is, and this is particularly important when you have a massive strength disadvantage like the Bretonnians have here. We'll just switch back around to them actually. So the Khemri have got 4 strength 5 players. And what the Bretonnians done here is they've offered up 7 players on the line of scrimmage. Now all of these players are going to be hit. Now a lot of this game comes down to player removals and one side massively outnumbering the other. And obviously there's a lot of complaining about dice you can do about that, but you can also help the dice to annoy you like that by giving them just offering up loads of players. So all 7 of these players are about to be hit in the first turn, providing there's not an early turnover or something. But yeah, there's 2 dice all the way along this line that's about to happen. And every time that happens, it's a chance for one of your players to be taken off the pitch. Now, as a defensive coach, you need to set up a minimum of 3 players in this area here between the 2 wide zones on the line of scrimmage. And that, honestly, is all I would do. So every time I set up defensively, unless there's a really good reason not to, like you've got a huge strength advantage and the other team has a very little re-rolls or something, might be an occasion where you don't. But basically, just put 3 players in this middle here. Everyone else should be stepped back, ready to defend the drive that's coming. Because every player you put on the halfway line is going to be hit, especially when you're at a strength disadvantage. And playing against Khemri, you're almost always going to be at a strength disadvantage because they've got 4 Tomb Guardians. But yeah, let's look at the Bretonnian team. So like the Undead team we saw in the last video, new to the league, so played 5 games against the AI to start developing the team and have some quite decent levels on some players. So they have got 3 blitzers on the team, I believe. Yep, 3 blitzers, 1 with dodge, 1 with mighty blows. So it's good use of a double. And 1 unleveled one, but who's on 5 points, so could be looking to level at some point. They have 3 blockers, I thought. Maybe it's just 2 blockers. Yeah, I can just see. Oh no, it is 3 blockers. So there's a guard one, which is a great first advance for 1, and then 2 unleveled. That one's on 3 points. That one's on none. And then what are they on 5 peasants? So 1 with block and 1 with tackle, or 2 with block and 1 with tackle, and 2 unleveled ones. So yeah, I think I'd honestly just have the 2 unleveled linemen and 1 of the block ones as the 3 players in here who you're going to offer to be hit. They can obviously hit 1 more with a blitz, but that's all the hits you want to be giving up in the first turn of a defensive drive. No bench for the Bretonnians as well. So as soon as one of these players is out of the game, they're at a disadvantage. Khemri have 2 on the bench. The Khemri team, who we saw last season, who won the championship, so they've played 9 games. Both blitzers are unleveled, but both close to it. So one's on 5 points, one's on 4. Then we have both of the throwers are back here. We've lost all our skill icons, so we're going to have to look at them all. So we've got a block thrower, and this one is fend and leader. So this is where their 5th rerolls coming from, usually. And it looks like they just picked up a cheering fans reroll, so they're back up to 4, which is going to be plenty. And that kind of means the Master Chef is not doing a great deal in this first half. But then 4 Tomb Guardians. So unleveled one there. This one has guard. This one has Mighty Blow piling on and guard, and this one has guard and a movement penalty. And then the skeletons are filling in, so it's unleveled. This is a wrestle one, and this is a block one. Block one's potentially a bit wasted, but could be throwing the blitz. is something to consider. Or the blitzer could be, of course. Yeah, it might be a good idea to have the block one in here somewhere. But yeah, there we go. So Khemri are attacking. Kicks down here, so straight away we've got to throw it over to stand guard over the ball. And then this one will attempt to pick up later in the turn, you'd have thought. So push back straight away from the blitzers. Could have blocked diagonally, so the pushback sends like this lineman in there. Wouldn't have been able to follow up, but it would have had another hit. Fend is preventing some assists from going into place, and could have done similarly over here. Although this skeleton could have followed up, or it could have had the blitzer on the outside for the safer block first. Going diagonally there could have pushed back, so you still get another go at them. So I can see there's been loads of pushbacks run in this first half, but all 7 of the players along that line were blocked. We'll finally get a knockdown just for a stun. So out of 7 blocks received, they've done quite well to only have 1 player stunned. And then we have this skeleton blitzing, fails to go for it. And yeah, quite a good decision there to not re-roll that one. The ball's safe. Only 2 other players who could have acted. It's a good opportunity to not throw a re-roll at that. Got to conserve them for the half. So this looks like a blitz target here from this mighty blow blitzer. So if he comes in one of these 2 squares, so the blitz there, that's looking likely. So over here again, the Bretonnians have just engaged everybody. But for no real gain, they're going to give up more hits over here by just throwing bodies into the players. Just get a pushback on their blitz. And I think this Team Guardian moving over here could be a good play to get 2 dice on a Bretonnian player of their choice here. So double skulls is early in the turn, is something you re-roll. We're having this Team Guardian blitz, so it gets a knockdown as well as so won't need to make use of guard, which is what I was eyeing up before. Get 2 dice here. Successful pickup. So this throw out over here. 8 points. So he's behind this other one. Hasn't been in the team as long. It's a well shielded ball. No way through for the Khemri really. It's using block there to get that knockdown. And that sets up 2 dice on that blitzer. So no removals as yet, but the way the Bretonnians did the last turn just sent everyone back into tackle zones. It just set them all up to be hit again, and it's the way that the Khemri are just controlling this game at the moment. Because they're not giving up many hits against, but the Bretonnians are always there to be hit each turn. Took 1 dice on that Tomb Guardian. Without a block player, I think the wrestle player would have been safer, and then that both down wouldn't necessarily have needed a reroll. You could have just wrestled the Tomb Guardian to the floor, which kind of would have nullified it for next turn, even though you're not getting a hit on it. And that's 1 dice there, but gets the knockdown. Follows up to pin the blitzer against the touchline. Yeah, so 2 turns in and no Bretonnians removed, but they've been losing the sort of attrition game already. Well, there's our first knockout. But by leaving everyone in base contact, so base contact, thinking of it as like the tabletop game, but yeah, you know what I mean. And then good opportunity to shield the ball here. See this Tomb Guardian here. might be able to free up this skeleton for a bit more screening, but I don't think I really need a lot else at the moment. Second knockout. So suddenly the Bretonnians down to 9 players. Yeah, this can help the Blitzer come away from the touchline, and now we've got this blocker pinned in by a Tomb Guardian. Okay, so a way that it's probably not your first move because it's a bit risky, but a way you can help out this this blocker and get him away is that all these blitzers have Dauntless. So what you got is a 3+ d6 roll if you want to blitz this Tomb Guardian. Because this guy's got, oh no, this one guy hasn't got guard, so it would be 1 dice. I thought this was a guard one, but it's basically a 3+ roll to match strength with the Tomb Guardian for a 1 dice. If you can get an assist in there as well, that would be 2 dice, and it'd be a good way you could get a hit on this Tomb Guardian and get this guy potentially away from the sidelines, because this there's the guard one, but leading in with 1 dice lineman blocks, which are very risky, and that you swallowed up a team reroll with the Master Chef taking 2. They've used 3 rerolls in 3 turns already. Going for another 1 dice here, which is just a skull. Need to find more 2 dice blocks, which is tough against Khemri, but the way they're all engaged and not sort of stood off makes it difficult to do that. And that is a dead Blitzer. So that's a Khemri Blitzer finally levelled. So Apothecary puts that Blitzer back on the bench. That's an early used Apothecary there. And puts the Bretonnians down to 8, I think. Yeah, 8, and Khemri are on 10 with 1 knockout coming there before. And now down to 7 with that knockout as well. And that is the blocker off the pitch, but down to 6. There's another knockout as well. And then cheeky 1 dice pal at the end there for a stun as well. Yeah, so Bretonnians really suddenly down to, what's that, 6 players on the pitch. Yeah, but it's really the Khemri, because they've got a massive strength advantage, they want to be engaged all the time. The Bretonnians should be looking to be keeping their players free, not just going in and marking players to try and hold them up, but trying to screen as well, keep players back so they can respond to the attack, which hasn't happened in this one. Throwing loads of 1 dice blocks as well, which every one of them is risky, and they've had to lean heavily on the 6 rerolls they've had for this half. They've used 4 in 4 turns. Another 1 dice here, which is also a turnover after another 1 dice block. 8 up the reroll earlier. Possibly a safer play to have this Blitzer throw that instead, or at least get an assist. So you can move this lineman over, and then the Blitzer's got a 3+ dodge with dodge, which 8 out of 9 times should work. So that'd be 4, 5, 6, 7. You need to go for it to get a hit down. Yeah, throwing 1 dice blocks with players without block or wrestle is really risky. It's basically a 3+ roll to not turn over, and a 5+ roll to get what you actually want. Here's our first pylon. Leaves that as a stun. Looking back at inducements, just considering this, I know because they would have spent 300 on their Master Chef. I'm not sure what the team value difference was, but I think if they could have got a couple of bribes and a dirty player lineman, that could have been really quite effective in this game if they'd managed to be using that dirty player to with this piling on Tomb Guardian. Every time he does that, you had someone who could come along and kick him. That might have been pretty effective. They've obviously, like I've been saying, using their rerolls. But that's a blocker out of the game now. That's the guard one as well. So an important player for the Khemri to remove as well, because that's going to just further help them dominate the game. Going for a handoff to the Tomb Guardian, which you might as well, because they're odds on to score anyway. Did foul that. It's 55% to make a 5+ roll with a reroll, but 2 and a 1 came up on those. So dodged away there. Okay. This is a less risky dodge to maybe have been thrown first. And that lineman trying to dodge out there on a 4. Which is another reroll, so they've used a reroll every turn. Almost every turn, I think, because they've got 1 left. We're seeing 3 dice here. Can I get a pushback? Probably see this thrower score this turn or next. Would be able to hold it onto it for another turn. I think there's no real way through if this thrower grabs the ball. Could have tried because they've got 2 rerolls left, 1 for each turn. Could maybe have blitzed with one of these block players. Tried the Tomb Guardian pickup if you want to score on that. You still got another turn next turn to do something safer. The thing is, yes, the 2-point turn Tomb Guardian, which is why they want 3 points on it, I think. The blitzer back there, he's levelled. Also, this blitzer could be a good scoring candidate. Oh no, both blitzers have levelled. I think, popped it in that turn. That does give the Bretonnians another chance to get all their knockouts back. So they'll get a couple of rolls now. Only 1 of 4 came back there though. The Khemri knockout didn't come back, but that's not really going to affect. If they've just lost the wrestle skeleton, they can put an unlevelled one on instead. But Bretonnian is still very low on players. They're down to 7 players, and they've got the speeds to turn. They've got players with catch, so they can make a pass relatively reliably. But they don't really have the numbers to break down this defence. And there's a bit of a gap around the sides they could go for. But they would immediately, they need a blitzer, probably a blitzer on each wing, preferably to get down here and be scoring threats. And then their third blitzer would probably need to try and make a pass. But if they can get blitzers down here, Khemri have to come and deal with them, which wouldn't be... It wouldn't be that easy to get the ball to them later, but there's a blitz for the Khemri anyway. And that more or less is going to finish things off for this half. Especially with the kick being this shallow, they can get in amongst it and make it difficult to pick up. This is a 6+ catch that this thrower is gearing up for. And it's nice when you can catch your own kick. but that's it's unlikely. Needs to throw a 6 at it. Just one more player who can act. He's going to come forwards. I'd maybe mark this blitzer. Maybe I'll just screen it off. Screen it off is a better option actually. Don't just give up a mighty blow hit. So they called it on a 6. Yeah, actually, it's going to be after the Bretonnian turn. One of the things I wanted to look at for this game. I think I'd have thrown my blitz with this guy there. So they're just marking in. So there's no assists available here. And that's just a pushback. But yeah, one dice block again, where you could have set it up to get an assist to get that second dice. I probably would have used the mighty blow guy to make that hit. So now we've got so veterans and those familiar with chain pushing would have noticed clear off these skills so we can see things a bit better. So I've got all these players bunched up here. You've got T shapes and you've got boxes, all of which mean chain pushes are on. And I want to highlight this because I was watching it in the game live. But when it wasn't possible anymore, I pointed out to the Khemri player, he could have scored this turn. And he said, yeah, I know, I saw it a bit too late. But I wanted to just see how that could have happened. So we've got Tomb Guardian about to hit this blocker into a T shape, which means he can chain push this guy. So if he pushes into the thrower, he's going to push in turn. Probably here would be a good spot. Although maybe here keeps him more surrounded. Basically what you're trying to do, this thrower can move 8 squares, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, means he's 3 short. You need to push him 3 squares this turn by pushing other players into him and having no other options than no empty squares available, so you can choose to push it into this thrower and keep pushing him back. And I'll just see how that can happen. So you can push into there to push to there. That's one of the squares. Then you need to find 2 more. So is a knockdown there, which isn't necessarily helpful. That has pushed the thrower 1 square further forwards. So now needs 2 more. Might need, I think, to push this guy here if we can. And we've rolled a push. So we're going to need to, it'd be good to get that name off the screen so we can see what's going on. There we go. Right, so pushing there would be a good idea here because you need this player in here to jam up some more space. Then you want one guy in here to be able to fill that up. I need to look at this properly. I haven't had a chance to look at this properly yet. Actually, here might be good because then you could use this guy to push in there. You need to fill that space as well. Yeah, so you push the lineman there, put this skeleton lineman there. Use this guy to push there, into the thrower, pushes him another square. Then you've got a box of players. And you need to probably use your blitz to hit. It's quite hard to visualise without them all moving because I know it doesn't go that way. Yeah, so he has gone there. So you can then need to fill in both of those spaces, which I think he's going to use up too many players. You need, I think this square being free was fine. If that lineman was there, that was free. You can push him there. Then you need 1 more push. And you've got a box there. That's a Bretonnian. That's not a Bretonnian. Yeah, it might be tricky to find that last one. I didn't get a chance to look at this properly. Maybe coming from this way, could have pushed along. Yeah, blitzing this guy would have done it because you could have pushed the prone player into there and then into the thrower who's there and then he's 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, that's how you could have done it. You had these like 2 block boxes joined together. As it was, that blitz who died earlier is out of the game from a blitz. Yeah, so it's just when you're looking at pushing someone further up the pitch, you have to fill in, you just have to look at how can I fill in all the gaps to make boxes so I can block diagonally to get a push, or how can I make a T shape to hit someone straight on to get the push in there, pushing further on. So that was how it was possible. You blitz in that corner, push there, and he could have been out here, which is the square we needed to get to for 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. And if he wasn't I think he wouldn't have even been marked by Bretonnian either, so it would have just been 2 go for it's to score. But as it was, he didn't get those extra squares, and he's just looking to farm a star player point with that throw, which is successful. Grabs a point. The touchdown was on, so that was one of the main reasons I wanted to look at this game, to look at that again and check how it could have been done. But really poor recovery from knockout rolls is not helping the Bretonnians. No one's recovering from knockouts, so that Khemri skeleton's still out. Only MasterChef's only done 1 reroll this time. I really think there were better options for inducements. MasterChef is great for halflings because it's reasonably costed. I think 300,000 is really steep for what you get out of it. That's a Khemri player hit by Throw a Rock. Against Fame as well. Khemri have got Fame. Only 1, but they have done it. Just a stun. But the Bretonnians are on 6 players. And they're 1 touchdown down. And there's really not a lot they can do about this. Not getting those players back, but losing those players in the first place in the first half by engaging, by giving the Khemri loads of blocks, and then just trying to dodge here to prevent more hits, because this time they have got the minimum 3 players on the line. But unless you're good at dodging, I think you just kind of eat those hits. And Bretonnians aren't that good at dodging. Apart from their blitzers with dodge, when they can pick it up. They've only got 1 blitzer with dodge, but that player's good at dodging. There's no one on the pitch better at dodging than that guy, but he wasn't the one trying to do it. So Khemri can get loads of pressure on the ball here. Khemri have found a lot of go for it's in this game. That's a knockdown off of that reroll. Go for it. And they can just keep the pressure on here. There's so few Bretonnians that the Khemri can get really deep into the half, and just come grab another touchdown. Going for the pickup, so being more unfortunate numbers coming up. Had to use a reroll to make sure that's in hands, but can't really get the ball safe anywhere. This guy dodging into this square here is about the best they can do. Going, making that L shape rather than the line means you can get an easy assist. Probably from this skeleton, although probably the best way is to guard Tomb Guardian right in there. Is now assisted on all 3 of these players, but most notably the ball carrier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So go for it from this blitzer to do it. Going with this skeleton there. Actually, no, you can blitz from that square, couldn't you? So I think one of these blitzers would have been the safer option. It gets a knockdown. Does mean these blitzers are all free. One of them could come try grab the ball. Throwers, is that 6 squares away? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, thrower could come do it. It's the safest pickup you've got. Points on the blitzers would probably be more welcome. But that is 4 plus with a reroll for the thrower to grab it. Another knockout. So I think that puts the Bretonnians down to 5. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And that's the Throw Rock skeleton that was hit before. We'll come back into the game. And then ball pick up as the last action. Which is fine. So they do have a 2 dice uphill on the ball, but the skull was rolled. And that's a quick turnover. There wasn't really much else to have on. Once it gets to the point, and I've had this loads of times, but once it gets to the point where you've hardly got any players on the pitch, you can't do a lot or anything really, and your turns become very quick. Know how that can be. Knockdown there is survived, but this thrower could just stick this straight in unless they want. Don't have to bring the Tomb Guardian into position to try and score. Looks like they probably are for throw and go for it, so want to get him in scoring position. And does it again. No reroll this time. I think if you're I think if you've used a reroll already, it's worth just hanging on that last square, because you could always, if he's going to go for it next turn, you've got a reroll back at least. 2 dice uphill on the board again. So would have been a nothing with the both down, so re-rolled, but got a scar again. I've got a block up here. That's a pylon for a knockout, and yeah, Bretonnian's down for 4. So more just rubbing it in really. Is this going in? No, it's going in. It's 2-0. Quite quickly off of the kick. Khemri get a second. Crucial knockout rolls. Only 2 from 5 came back, so they've been really poor. They've been a bit of a letdown. That guy's just, I think, done for the game, really, as well, that Wrestle Skeleton. Bretonnians can try and attack again, but they've still only got 6 players. Really needed more of these back. But yeah, very little they can do. Have to put 3 players in here, but they can't do a lot. If you're going to be dodging players away, I'd maybe have to dodge Blitzer in there to make sure you've got a decent chance of doing that. But a quick snap is helpful. They can just retreat from the line of scrimmage. They need to look somehow at where they can try and make a hole. But I think what they might really be doing is just trying to hold the ball away from the Khemri and try and hold it at 2-0 is probably the best they can really hope for now. Good scout for them. It's 3 tackle zones on the ball. Throws a pass for a point. I think that's the first star player points the Bretonnians have earned. This blitzer could have come deeper if he wanted to hold the ball away. I think he's probably in reach where he is. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, go for it away from being marked by this thrower. This one coming in as well. Oh, this one just walked in. So ball is based. For it, is this guy blitzing? He is blitzing, yeah. So just a push back. And pushing in there means he's still marked by 2 players. So the 3+ dodge away is there. Possibly their best option. Bretonnians don't really have the players to do much about this. And yeah, the Khemri are so like the Bretonnians in the first half were engaging, just coming in, marking up. That's the game the Khemri want to play in this matchup. So the Bretonnians should be seeking to not do that and try and keep away from them. So they're maybe going to look for a dodge away at a pass here. But it's failed. Failed on 2. Team reroll. There's another 1 in 9 dodge failed. And that ball is dropped. 2 short hands players standing next to it, so one of them you'd think will be trying to grab the ball now. Got 3 dice blocks, might as well throw that. And Blitz finally gets that lineman down. And where he's been pushed to as well means when he stands up next turn, he's marked by a Tomb Guardian. It's a good way of like keeping them under control because they're not going to be wanting to dodge away. Marked by Tomb Guardians, in fact, unless this one moves. Yeah, this one is blitzing. See who's up. Oh, this one. He's got 3 dice on this guy. But just to push back. Can push him there so the skeleton can hit as well. 3, 4, 5, 6. So if he'd followed up, this skeleton would have had 3 dice here. That's a failed pickup. Now I can put 3 tackle zones on the ball here, which is going to make it difficult to... Oh, that was a dodge there, I missed that. But yeah, that's 3 tackle zones on the ball, makes it very difficult. That's a 6+ pickup. But yeah, other thing I wanted to look at is the way the Khemri cleared this ball off. So we talked a bit about chain pushing at the end of the first half, how you need boxes and T-shapes. So the Khemri player here makes a box and then uses that to clear 2 of these players off of the ball, which was pretty good going. So this guy comes in. Oh, I thought he came in there. There would have been good. This guy in here. Oh, okay, they make a box there rather than there. And then a blitz on this lineman. So if that's a knockdown, you can then push this guy away from here. Into the corner of the box means you've got a chain push on. And that goes from a 6+ pickup to a 5+ pickup. It's another injury as well, so that block lineman missing the next game. Blitzer pushed away. Then we've got a thrower into the end zone, which is a bit easier a pick up, but still quite tricky because there's still 1 tackle zone on the ball. But yeah, Khemri owning the ball as well. They're not going to let the Bretonnians pick it up even if this fails. So gets a 5+ pickup with sure hands, which is 55%, and then makes the 4+ dodge as well. And I think he's going to go for a pass, which is successful. 4+, 4+. Threw a lot of dice at that, but made that pickup just that bit easier with the chain push and the knockdown. And that makes it 3-0. And because Camtasia was messing me around before I started recording this, I'm going to have to basically skip to the end, I think, because I've got to start work. Finally get a couple of knockouts back, but they've had loads of injuries now as well, the Bretonnians, and they are on 7 players to end the game. That 1 turn each. But we don't, there's nothing else to see here. We can't skip any further forwards. Just wait for these last blocks and we'll be done from there. Nope, that's it. They did wind up 3-0. That's a good MVP for them, that blocker levelling. I believe, I think he rolled a pretty good advance. We're going to see. It's great when MVP lands on a Tomb Guardian as well, because they struggle to level. But yeah, loads of massively out blocking, and that was the difference really. It's easy to complain about players getting injured all the time, and the failed recovery from knockout rolls was bad, but giving up this many blocks against a team with a massive strength advantage is, 64 successful blocks is massive. That is a huge amount in any game, and it got them 9 removals, and that was how the difference was really made in that one. You got to deny, like, playing this team, and they won last year, so they're pretty good. The coach is using them well, But playing against them, you've got to deny them this number of blocks, because they'll do this to you, and then they'll do this to you, and that's how they're working. Loads of star player points, just the pass and the MVP for the Bretonnians. Really horrible game for them. It's one of them frustrating ones, like I said, where you're just you just can't do anything because you don't have the players on the pitch. Wake up after knockout, 33%, not as bad as the 9% we saw from the Undead in the last game, but yeah, that's something that's you can't control. It should be like 7 or 8 successes, but it wasn't, and that made a massive difference. But it's having the players knocked out in the first place was bigger, because you can't rely on them to come back. Whereas 0% is actually the lowest we've seen. That's lower than 9% even. But that was just one player, and they always had 11 on the pitch at the start of every drive. That's where we are. That was the first week of matches. Khemri have actually played their second round already. They won that 1-0. I haven't had a chance to look at the replay yet, but I know I'm not going to be able to cover every game in the next one, because this has been played already. We'll just have a quick look here. Guards obviously picked up the MVP. The Skeleton did as well. Haven't looked at this game yet, but that you can see that's not as big a difference as we just saw against the Bretonnians, but and that's not many removals actually either. From 57 blocks, it was 60 something blocks, wasn't it, with 9 removals. So stood up to that a bit better, and still pretty low. 0 is still pretty low. So no recover from knockout rolls for either team in that game. But yeah, I did want to look at those two teams because we had some levels. We've got levels still to take on the Khemri here. But yeah, Knights for a right angle. So that blocker who levelled was the only player who did for them. And picked up strength 4. So rather than level 6, a strength 4 blocker who's going to be really useful, especially once he gets some skills as well. He'll be tough to move. Things like stand firm and guard, and then stick him on the line. He's just not going anywhere, and he'll be very difficult to deal with. And who else at Khemri? So both blitzers levelled for Khemri. One took Frenzy, one took Mighty Blow, which is fun stuff. Thrower took Nerves of Steel. From I think was that from that same game? I think it may well have been. I think he got a couple of those touchdowns. Because I think this is the only player who levelled against the Necromantic, and hasn't yet rolled his level. So we can see how that went. Said back in the after week 1, the Necromantic had a ghoul level of a double, didn't they? But I didn't see what they took in the end. And obviously played a game since. It took pass. So building a thrower ghoul, which gives them a good other option for stretch plays. That's what we're up to. 5 games played so far all season. Khemri on top of it have played another game than everyone else, but they're up there at the top and establishing themselves with 2 wins from 2 as still the team to beat from last season. Two other teams could potentially try and keep up 100% record. It's Bretonnians against Bretonnians this week. I think it's happening tonight. We've got Underworld against Norse, which is my Underworld team. Don't feel great about that one because last season it was very difficult playing them. Other game is Undead against Lizardmen, which is going to take a while to get to because the Undead coach is getting married this weekend. Congratulations, James and Mayara. We're done for now. We'll cover some more games over the next couple of weeks if round 2.